I bring you Easter greetings from the staff of Heartland Presbytery. I'm Dale Jackson, Presbyter for Vision and Leadership. Today we conclude our study of the book, God Didn't Make Us to Hate Us. The author, Reverend Lizzie, spends a few chapters with the resurrection and post-resurrection stories. Chapter 40, the great vigil of Easter, reminded me of events in my childhood. As a child, I was scared of the dark. No, not scared. I was terrified. I think part of my fear had to do with the silence that the dark brings. I also know that some of my fears had to do with my understanding of God. I had been taught that God was a vengeful authoritarian who was going to punish me if I was not perfect, and the one thing I knew for sure was that I was not perfect. So at night, when the house went silent and I couldn't see the rest of my family because they were all tucked away in their rooms, and I couldn't assure myself that I had not somehow missed the rapture, and that I had not been left all alone, it was terrifying for me. Nearly every terrifying dream I had was about being left alone while those I loved were taken by God. Those are probably some of the reasons that Reverend Lizzie's book has meant so much to me, inviting me to rethink all those things I know about God. And with the final chapter, she invites me to rethink my fear of the dark. Darkness, she suggests, is where things begin. God created the world in darkness. The light of day is created from the darkness of night. Reverend Lizzie says God is perhaps most creative in the blackness, in the void over the face of the deep, in the womb, in the knitting together of our inmost parts, in that time where the sun has gone to bed and all our dreams awaken and the terrors are real. But so too is possibility. In the darkness, she says, God is blooming. It was before the light of the first day, while the world was still dark, that the women went to find the body of Jesus and prepare him properly for burial, to anoint him and to mourn him, to say goodbye to their friend and teacher. And then a dazzling stranger greets them with a greeting that echoes throughout the Bible. Do not be afraid. Reverend Lizzie asks us to consider how many times God has said that to us. And now Jesus, who endured the trauma and misery and torment of a state execution naked on a tree, says to the women who mourned him, who watched him, who stood by him, don't be afraid. Peace, beloveds, peace be with you. You see, in the blooming darkness, God has faced the worst things we do to one another and comes out saying, don't be afraid. Peace. I love you. I am here. Reverend Lizzie says, resurrection happens while it is still dark, while trauma is fresh, the wounds not yet healed, the sleep deprivation and exhaustion still lingering. Resurrection does not wait for the dawn. Easter begins in the evening, and we do not need to be afraid of the dark. It's as if Reverend Lizzie is speaking to my 8-year-old self when she says, we do not need to be afraid of the dark, for God has gone into hell and taken back every key. God has emptied the cellars and the monsters under the bed and says to them, I am not afraid of you, nor will you make my people afraid. And friends, for me, that is the best resurrection story I've ever heard. God took the worst we could throw at him in the form of Jesus and came through it and said, don't be afraid. I love you. I've always loved you and will never leave you alone. That speaks to me because if I am honest, I was not afraid of the dark. I was afraid of being left all alone. We are resurrection people. We are people of the resurrection. And yet there are so many reasons to be afraid in this world of ours. But we are told that death does not have the final word. God did, does, and will forever have the final word. 'Tis good news. When I pastored a congregation, one of the great honors was officiating at funerals. At the end of every funeral, I ended with these words: the spirit of the deceased shall not know the blight of mortality, for it shall live on in the lives made real by its presence and its gracious influence. So reverently, lovingly, trustingly, we commend our friend to God's care, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We are confident of the final victory of God's love over suffering, injustice, ugliness, and death. Our friend is at peace from the troubles and ailments of this world, at peace with us, and at peace with God. Those words bring me comfort even when I am not officiating a funeral, because they are words spoken through the ages to remind us that we are resurrected people, and that there is nothing we must do or can do to earn that resurrection, that love of God. It is a gift freely given by the one who created us and loved us and resurrects us. Reverend Lizzie ends her book with a blessing based on Julian of Norwich. I think it is a fitting way to end our time of study. God never promised that things would be easy. God never promised we would never be sick, never be sad, never be lonely, never be tired, or never be harmed. But God did promise that we will not be overcome. So remember, when the storm is raging, God is our shelter. And when we are too sheltered, God will bring a storm. So the blessing of God be upon you now and always. I have so enjoyed spending this Lenten season going through God didn't make us to hate us. I hope it has added to your Lenten disciplines. I hope that you are celebrating the joy that we have as resurrected people. Until next time.